Finding success. Our focus on small business ownership continues today. We're taking a look at a business in the marketing space. We have got Cian McLoughlin, owner of sales and marketing company Trinity Perspectives, joining us right now. Cian, thanks so much for your time. We do appreciate it.
That's okay.
First of all, marketing, obviously quite a broad church. We should talk a bit more specifically about what Trinity does, some of its customers perhaps, and the services you provide.
Absolutely. So we are a boutique firm, so we work with small and large organisations, and we focus on a couple of specific areas, sales and marketing. So I think the two are sort of inextricably linked. The ability to, if you look at businesses as a sales funnel, the ability at one end to fill the funnel at the top and get a real understanding of where are our best leads coming from, where are the opportunities which are most pertinent to us, but also get an understanding of how to move them all the way through the funnel to the point that they actually translate into customers or clients of yours. So that's kind of, we work at both ends of the funnel with our clients.
Okay, what kind of clients? Are they sector specific or across the board?
It's actually across the board, and not only is it's sort of across multiple different industry verticals, but we also work with clients from, you know, the largest global firms down to, you know, small and medium businesses. And what's interesting for me is the fact that although there's differences between the two sectors, there's a lot of commonality in terms of what works and also what doesn't work.
Okay, so it's still probably rather vague for some people understanding what a sales and marketing boutique might be able to help them with. Can you give us an example, perhaps?
Absolutely. So if we look at the marketing side for a moment, a lot of organisations, particularly small and medium companies, have relatively small marketing budgets, if any. You know, I put myself in that category. You know, we work off the smell of an oily rag, and any opportunity we can get to get our story out there, we need to take. Where some firms struggle is they struggle to understand what the mechanisms available to them are. So how to leverage social media, how to leverage Twitter, how, if you're in the professional services sector, how to leverage LinkedIn, how to get your story out there and your unique selling proposition. So with many of our clients, they're the kind of areas that we focus on. We help them to hone and refine their story and then help them articulate that better to the market.
I was going to ask you what the most common query people come to you with when they say, I'm here because, is it perhaps trying to get a better understanding of social media, because that's something that's new to a lot of small businesses?
Look, social media is certainly an area that's of big interest, but one of the key areas, and probably an area of expertise for Trinity, is around sales execution. So people are wondering, why aren't we able to close the business that we expect to be able to close? Why are we getting all of this sort of interest, but we can't translate that or convert that into closed clients? So that's an area that we focus on very specifically.
So what's obviously, what often is the answer there? Is it that transactions are difficult, or...?
Look, honestly, it varies from client to client. So when we sit down and we analyse it, I mean, that's the interesting thing about sales. It's actually a very process-oriented model. So therefore, you can break it down into its pieces. But often it's our pricing model is wrong. We're focusing too much on our needs. We're not actually focusing on understanding the needs or the benefits that our clients are trying to derive from what it is that we have.
Okay, so 3 years in small business. Yes. How many staff do you have at the moment?
So what I've done is I've actually taken a slightly different model. What I've done is I've developed partnerships with other organisations.
Right, okay.
And I do that for two reasons. I'd spent many years in a large corporate environment, so I wanted to step away from that. But I also saw the value in, rather than Trinity trying to be all things to our clients, if there was a need or a requirement in one of our clients that we couldn't meet or fulfill, by partnering we could still provide that client with the outcome they needed, but it didn't require us to scale up and scale up. So it's been a really interesting strategy, and also what it does is it brings business to us via our partner network as well.
Do you ever miss the big corporate end of town, miss the credit card or the free tickets or the morale working there?
Yes and no. I mean, Christmas party is an interesting time, and look, small businesses have found ways to get around those things, but you do miss it. You know, the first 6 to 12 months, I really missed it.
And you missed the paycheck.
Yeah, you miss the paycheck. Absolutely, you're suddenly, you're completely responsible for whether there's anything coming in or not. You miss the HR department, you miss the IT department, because now you have to do all of that for yourself.
Yeah, absolutely. So what have you learnt through this process of starting your business? Perhaps other people out there who are about to take the plunge could take note of.
One of the big learnings for me was to focus on actually what I'm good at and outsource the rest. And it took me a while to learn that. Unfortunately, I tried to turn myself into an IT person for the first 6 months and get my laptop to talk to my printer. But actually, there's some really great people out there who do that for a living, take that time, focus it on something which is more relevant to your business, and bring an expert in. It's a far easier way to do it.
Okay, and some of the, guess the things you did well that you look back on and think, oh, I actually did that the right way the first time, or I've learned how to do that properly.
There's probably two things which really stood out for me. Getting my price point right was really important. So I spent quite a bit of time trying to understand not just what other organizations in similar areas to me were charging, but also what the value that my client was going to derive from my service, and then I use that to help me set that bar. Because if you set it too low, it's extremely hard to bring it up over time. So that was one area of learning for me, and I think probably the other was to focus.
Okay.
Yeah, focus on my niche.
All right, so as a marketing expert, perhaps you could provide some advice to small business owners out there, some of the simple tools they can utilise, or ideas or things to take a look at within their own business they perhaps haven't been paying attention to so far.
Absolutely. I think the first thing I'd encourage people to do before we even focus on marketing is let's focus on who our customers are. So getting very, very clear on what our target market is, what our perfect customer looks like. And if we already have some customers, then getting very clear on what information we've received from them and capturing that in a way that's meaningful that we can use it again. So a CRM system or some other mechanism to say, okay, my clients have given me information that allows me to develop more customer intimacy. Let me really use that because it's valuable, it's inherently meaningful. Build a corporate memory for my organization.
Who would be your big competitors?
That's a good question. Look, there's a variety of organizations out there that provide sales training. There's a variety of organizations out there that focus on marketing. What we like to do and what makes us a little bit different is sort of understanding that both of those are inextricably linked and trying to bring that to an organization. I think the other big competitor is just how busy organizations are. And often what we do is we just stick with the status quo because we're too busy to go out and find someone who can come in and give us that expert advice and a different perspective on our problem. So we just muddle through, particularly in the small business market.
And you also say having a media presence is important.
Well, I think it is because, who wants to be the best kept secret? I mean, if there's a way for you to... If you've got a great story to tell, if there's a way for you to get that story out, I think it's really, really important. And what's interesting now, only in the last couple of years, is that the dynamics have shifted. Previously, big organizations were the ones that could get their message out because they had the most dollars. But now, with the advent of social media, everyone can have a dialogue with their target audience if they choose to do it. But it does require time and effort and choice.
Okay, Cian, thank you so much for joining us.
Pleasure,
we appreciate it. Cian McLoughlin there from Trinity Perspectives.